Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to NUSE Open House. So this Zoom talk is on chemistry. So I hope you have come to the correct place. My name is Phan Wai Yip. I'm the Deputy Head of Education in the Department of Chemistry. So today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our NUS chemistry department. So I will probably take about 20 to 25 minutes to tell you a little bit about what you can study in chemistry. And after that, for the remainder of this session, we will do a Q&A. So if you have many questions to ask us, we'll try our best to answer them. If not, then we will direct you to the person who are able to address your questions more fully. Okay, so the title here is NUS Chemistry, the Central Science. So, first of all, let me just tell you what chemistry is about, or at least according to us. So, as you can see, chemistry is very much a study of atoms and molecules, right? All kinds of atoms, all kinds of molecules, you know, their structures, their properties, and what kind of things they can do for us. So in the, for example, in the world around us, you can for example, let's say the air that you breathe, you know, the chair that you sit on, the clothes that you wear, all these have something to do with chemistry because they are made of atoms and molecules. So you can see that chemistry is really permeates all areas of science and maybe even beyond science as well. So that is why we want to we always label chemistry as the central science because it touches all other sciences as well. As you can see from my diagram here. So we put chemistry in the middle because it is also relevant to, for example, medicine, biology, physics, and so on. Okay, so in terms of the sectors, so you can also see that if you are a chemistry graduate, it is also possible for you to enter a lot of sectors. So the one on the right hand side, the one in green, so you can also take part in petrochemicals, pharmaceuticals, plastics, environment, so on and so forth. So you can see that studying chemistry actually opens a very wide door for you to embark on whatever that interests you. Okay, so let me just give you a brief introduction to the NUS chemistry department. So we have about 60 faculty members. Faculty members means the professors and the lecturers who will be teaching you. And we have about 40 support staff, all the admin managers, the lab technologists, and so on and so forth. We have more than 400 undergraduate students, which means that every year we take in about, say, more than 100 students. We don't have any quota actually, so we can certainly accept more than 100. And of course, the NUS chemistry department is also a comprehensive department. That means that we not only do teaching, we also conduct a lot of research as well. And for this, we have a lot of graduate students helping us. Now, so over the years, the department has always been upgrading our facilities so that we expose our students to the state-of-the-art facilities, right? So in the past 20 years, you can see that we have upgraded the teaching laboratories, the research, and we purchased a lot of very modern equipment in order for us to enhance your learning experience and also to conduct world-class research here. Now, all these we can't really do without any strong backing from our alumni, actually. So as you can see, our alumni, have been supporting us over the years. And when it comes to undergraduate studies, many of our alumni are also offering scholarships for you. So I've listed down some of the scholarships here. They are named after our former professors and also former students in the chemistry department. Other than full scholarships, we also have a lot of awards and bursaries as well. Okay, so let me say something about our curriculum. So I'm sure this morning you have heard a lot about our College of Humanities and Sciences, shortened to CHS. And this College of Humanities and Sciences involve two faculties, two very big faculties, Arts and Social Science and Faculty of Science. So chemistry is in the Faculty of Science, okay? So this is where chemistry is part. Now, so when it comes to undergraduate studies, right, the chemistry curriculum follows the broad NUS curriculum. The NUS curriculum is made up of modules, right? It is what we call a modular system. And the reason why this modular system is chosen is because it offers a lot of choices and followed by flexibility to our students so that you can choose well, basically whatever that you want to study, but of course subjected to some constraints as well. Okay, now, so very briefly, what we mean by a module is that this is basically a course that you take, and this course is made up of 4 modular credits, and in order to graduate in 4 years' time, or maybe even less than 4 years' time, with a Bachelor's of Science with honors, you need to accumulate 160 MC. Okay, 160 MC. So this is the normal route for any NUS graduates, including the chemistry ones. Now, our chemistry modules or subjects are coded with CM. Okay, every time you see a CM, then you know that this is the chemistry module. Now, so let me just explain a little bit how you can obtain a chemistry degree, right? So the usual way is that a student will read 5 modules per semester. 5 modules per semester. So if you are talking about 4 years of study, there are 2 semesters per year. 2 semesters per year. That makes it 8 semesters for 4 years. So if you take an average of 5 modules per semester, you will end up with 40 modules. Yeah, 40 modules. Most of our modules are 4 MC. So if you take 40 times 4, then you end up with 160 MCs. So this is the normal way for which a student will read the modules in order to graduate in about 4 years' time. Okay. Now, our modules are divided into 3 broad categories. 3 broad categories, which I've indicated here. We have the major requirement, the one in green, okay, major requirement, which is the chemistry requirement in our case, okay. Our major is chemistry. Then this is followed by the core curriculum, the core CHS curriculum. I think you might have heard something about that this morning too. And then lastly, there is what we call unrestricted electives. So just by looking at the title of the title here, you know that you can actually read any modules you like. Now, if you look at the numbers below, major requirement, there's a number 15. 15 means that you need to take 15 modules, 15 chemistry modules, right? 13 core curriculum modules, and 12 unrestricted elective. So when you add them up, you have 40 modules altogether. Okay, so once you have fulfilled this requirement, then you will be able to graduate with a BSc degree. Now, let me just talk very briefly about the Common Core curriculum. I think it's because you have already seen this morning. So these are the 13 modules that you will take. And it will be preferable if you could complete most of these modules within the first few semesters in NUS. Now I move on to the major requirement, the chemistry requirement. So in the first year, we have what we call our gateway module, CM1102, chemistry, the central science. Okay, so we call it the chemistry, the central science. Now, for some of you who may not have H2 chemistry, right? If you do not have H2 chemistry, but still is very much interested in studying chemistry, you can also consider taking our bridging module, which is CM1417, Fundamentals of Chemistry. Okay, once you have taken the bridging module, or rather passed the bridging module, then you're able to go to the main module, the central science module. Now, when you come to level 2, then we have 4 more chemistry modules: Chem of Elements, Organic Chemistry, Physical Chem, and Analytical Chemistry. Now, so what we are going to do this time is that for many of these modules, there will also be a lab component, a practical component, because after all, chemistry is experimental science. So it's quite important for you to have some hands-on training on chemistry. Okay, now then once you reach year 3, that is actually the year where you will do the most chemistry modules. So we have 6 of them. 4 of them are what we call lecture modules, and then the last 2, CM3191 and CM3192, are the lab modules, the practical modules. So that means that all these modules from year 1 to year 3 are compulsory. They're essential. So you have to take all these modules before you can graduate with a chemistry degree. Now, when it comes to year 4, then it becomes a lot more flexible. You can now choose any 4 elective modules you like, right? And these elective modules are either the year 3 or the year 4 modules. So if you look at this table, I have put down some of the possible modules that you can take. So you can see that there are plenty of choices available for you, depending on what you like to study. But at this stage, you don't really have to worry too much about year 4, because it still has some way to go. And also these modules, we will constantly be fine-tuning them, and also maybe putting even more modules for you to choose. So, so from year 1 to year 4, you have a total of 15 chemistry modules. So once you have taken 15, you would have fulfilled your major requirement. Okay. So so I have spoken about the major requirement and the core curriculum. Now we go on to the unrestricted electives, right? Unrestricted electives is actually a very important group of modules to take in NUS. And in unrestricted elective, you can take any module you want. Okay, you can take any modules you want. Any subject is possible. Now, so for some of you who are really interested in chemistry, you can also do even more chemistry. Okay, even more chemistry. So because this is a chemistry program talk, so I'm going to talk about some of the chemistry modules that you can consider reading under the unrestricted elective umbrella here. Okay, we have set up a specialization in chemical research. So, and in this specialization, you'll be doing a pretty intensive research project. Okay, and this is to cater to students who are interested in research and who may intend to pursue a higher degree next time, for example, a PhD degree here. Okay, And of course, in the chemistry department, as I've mentioned just now, we have about 60 professors, and each of them have their own research topic. And so there's plenty of research topic for us to choose from. Now, if you are more into internship, right? So for example, you want to have a taste of what the chemical industry is about, you can also pursue your internship under the unrestricted elective group of modules too. So in the Faculty of Science, or rather in CHS, we have the UPIP program, UPIP, Undergraduate Professional Internship Program. So this is basically the program where students will go to the industry for their internship. Now, this is also a very popular and very useful program, because you can really apply what you have learned, right? All the chemistry concepts, principles that you have learned, you can actually apply in the industry that you want to. And we have many industries for you to choose from. I've listed some names here, but of course, over the years, our chemistry interns have been interning in many different companies. Okay, and especially in Singapore, it is really very important. Chemistry is important in the sense that chemical analysis of compounds are needed in many companies. Okay, whether they are food chemistry, food companies, or semiconductors, and so on and so forth. Okay, so once you have obtained a chemistry degree, what is it that you learn here? So there are several learning outcomes. Now, first and foremost, of course, after 3 or 4 years of chemistry, you would have built a pretty strong foundation in chemistry, right? So you'll be exposed to many of these very important topics. For example, chemical analysis, kinetics, spectroscopy. And then if you're interested in organic synthesis, we also have plenty of modules for you to choose from. And this is very important because these days there are a lot of very challenging real world problems for us to address, not just in Singapore, but also around the world. So having this foundation is very important for you to, as a stepping stone to address all these problems. Okay. And we also emphasize hands-on training, right? So as I've mentioned, chemistry is an experimental science. So it's really important for you to learn how to, make a compound or characterize the compound and so on. So this is a very important skill that you need to develop for the chemical industry, whether you are staying in Singapore or if you want to go overseas. Okay, and the third point is equally important. So chemistry is a science degree, and very often you will need to harness your critical thinking skills. Right? In science, we have many problems for you to solve. So when you solve the problem, you need to think in a very systematic way. You need to do some control experiments, right? And then after that, you present your results. You present your data, based on evidence, right? So this skill that you are going to have is very important in any industry, right? In any industry, not just the industry that is related to science, but even in the financial sector, for example. Okay, so you can get all this training in our department. Okay, our department is also ranked very highly in the world. We are number 9 based on the 2020 QS ranking, and our undergraduate programs remain as one of the top 10 programs in the world as well. Okay, so so when it comes to your career prospects, there are plenty of jobs available for you, right? So there's a huge diversity here. I've listed down just a small number of jobs that that you can take in Singapore as well. Many of them are also related to chemical analysis here. So that is one of the most important chemistry sectors in Singapore. Okay. So here I've listed some of the job titles, that our alumni have been that our alumni is undertaking at the moment. So you could see that there is a pretty bright career path, right? For a chemistry graduate, you can rise to become some directors, or you're a senior scientist at the HSA, Health Science Authority. You can be a consultant as well. And I know that some of our students even went on to do patent law, right? Patent law is now becoming very important in Singapore as well. And I just want to highlight one of our former students, Sean Fu, who's a senior crime scene specialist at the Singapore Police Force. So he planned his studies very well, and then he took a lot of, say, forensic science, analytical chemistry studies, in order for him to realize his dream, as a crime scene specialist with the police force here. So you can also do the same thing. Okay, so so when you come to NUS, to CHS, right? CHS is the CHS curriculum is really very flexible, right? That's the reason why we have that. And you could design your own curriculum within the CHS. So that means that whatever that interests you, that you want to study, it is possible for you to pursue that path. Okay, so as I've mentioned, the tools that are available to you are basically fall into these three categories: major requirements, core curriculum, and the unrestricted elective. In this case, the unrestricted elective is very important, because this is the group of modules that you can choose, right? You can choose anything you want under this unrestricted elective. Oops. So, so when you come to the chemistry department, we will also be helping you. So, when you design your own path, it doesn't mean that you are all alone. We have a student life committee that can also help you make a study plan. So I'm showing you one of a example of a study plan. So as you can see, this is for the whole of 4 years, right? Whole of 4 years. And the chemistry modules are in green. So you can see how the modules are being arranged. Now the core curriculum modules are in blue. So you can see that the core curriculum modules will be your focus for the first few semesters. After that, you will focus more on your major curriculum, right? And then your unrestricted elective will be probably the last one as well. Okay. Okay. Now, so in the unrestricted elective, in the UE space, there is plenty of space, plenty of room for you to even pursue a second major, or 2 minors or 1 minor. Okay, a second major, you need 10 modules. Remember that your primary major, you need 15 modules. For secondary major is 10 modules. For a minor, you need only 5 modules. So so we realized that many students have more than one interest. So for example, your main interest may be chemistry, but then you are also interested in, say, life science, right? So if that's the case, it is possible for you to consider reading chemistry major and a life science second major. Okay, second major. And you can read all the life science modules under unrestricted electives. Or for example, you are more interested in, let's say, geography, right? Then your second major can be geography as well. Okay, all second majors, you only need to have 10 modules. So if you're interested in minors, then of course you can also do the minors under unrestricted elective. Now, so having said that, for a person who is not pursuing chemistry as the primary major, we also have all these second major options for you. So we have a second major, and then we have 2 minors One is in chemistry, the other is in analytical chemistry. In fact, we also have another minor joined with physics, and the minor is called nanoscience. So for some of you who may not want to do chemistry as your first major, then you may also want to consider taking chemistry as a second major or a minor. Okay, so so for example, how do you plan your studies in NUS? So if you say you want to be an analytical chemist, right? So this is your ambition. You want to be a principal or chief analytical chemist in some industry. For example, in a food industry or flavor and perfumes or petrochemicals and so on and so forth. So what we suggest would be something like this, right? You have to then take more of the analytical chemistry modules, right? Or chemical analysis, instrumental analysis, and so on and so forth. This would enhance your knowledge in chemical analysis, and that would allow you to actually pursue your interest in many areas. Okay. Now, but in the meantime, you have a lot of unrestricted elective modules that you can take. So you can also try to tailor your unrestricted elective modules towards your goal. So you might want to consider taking, say, some food science modules, you know, some biology module, geology, and so on and so forth. Okay, so it's really up to you how you plan your curriculum, but it is very much possible for you to do so. And also you might want to consider an internship, right? An internship in a company that actually deals with chemical analysis, so that you have some idea what the job scope is about. Now, chemical analysis in Singapore is really very important. So you can see that there are many industries and government agencies that employ chemists for this purpose here. And then here on the yellow box, I've also listed some of the actual things that they do. Okay, these are the things that our former interns have done in some of these companies here. So you can see like blood stain analysis, atmospheric pollutants, you know, UV filters. So all these are chemistry problems, right? So there are plenty of chemistry problems even in Singapore alone. Now, not only that, you in our department, you will also be exposed to running some instruments, very important instruments, you know, like the mass spectrometer, some infrared spectrometer in order to analyze your samples. But let's say your interest is in energy instead, right? Energy or the environment, then you can also pursue such a goal as well. So, and then the industry that are available to you are say the solar energy, photovoltaics, you know, environment materials, all in Singapore as well. Now, so for this, you might also want to think about learning some instrumental analysis, and also to add in some other materials chemistry, for example, semiconductors. So we also offer a semiconductor course in the major requirement, right? And also some sustainable chemistry, which these days are really, really very important, right? Sustainable science. And then on the unrestricted elective side, you might also want to consider doing a specialization in research, so that you can understand more about the energy, right? What is the connection between chemistry to energy? Now, of course, on the other hand, you can also consider doing an internship with a company that deals with energy. So there are plenty of things that you can try here. Now, energy and chemistry are also very important in Singapore. This is highlighted in our industry transformation map. So I think if you go to the Ministry of Trade and Industry website, you can see this ITM, this map here, where they highlight energy and chemicals. That's because Singapore wants to become a global energy and chemicals hub. And this could lead to a creation of thousands of jobs, thousands of jobs actually for you. And also this will also add billions of dollars in value, so in a few years' time. Now, so just one more example, if you're interested in medicinal chemistry, so once again, you need to plan carefully. So you might want to take more of the biological chemistry modules, organic chemistry, medicinal chemistry, and so on. Okay, so medicinal chemistry is up and coming. So there are jobs in the pharmaceutical industry, medical technologies, and even in hospitals, right? Nowadays, there are more hospitals in Singapore as well that can also accommodate a chemistry graduate who have expertise in these areas. Okay, now, so of course, I can't give you every single industries here. So I hope you get the message that it is actually quite easy for you to plan whatever that you want to pursue. Now, so other than studying, of course, when you enter the chemistry department, we also want you to be involved in other things. So we have a pretty vibrant environment here. We have our own chemical science society. So this society is pretty active in helping us to organize activities for our students as well. Okay, we also have a science club and many other activities as well. Okay. And of course, we can't be working all the time, so it's good to enjoy ourselves as well. So we have always been organizing activities between staff members and students, and also conducting a lot of outreach to the junior colleges, polytechnics, and secondary schools. So these are some of the photos that show all our activities, such as crystal growing, and there's a barbecue as well, and we also have a NUS Chemistry Week. Okay, so I'm coming to the end. We have a Facebook, so I hope you can also follow all our developments via the Facebook here. Okay, and thank you very much for listening. So I hope you would seriously consider reading chemistry as your major. Okay, so that's the end of my talk here. And if you have any questions, and I think some of you are already asking questions, you can continue asking them. You can continue posing the question in chat. If not, you can also unmute yourself and also speak to us directly. Okay, thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. So just a clarification, this is Dr. Mike here. If you would like to ask a question using your mic, please raise your hand on Zoom, right? You can go to reactions on Zoom and then raise your hand and we will unmute you. Okay, thank you.
Perhaps I can answer some of the chat questions. So let me start from Tricia, right? Tricia's question: for the forensics minor, is it open to chemistry students? Yes, it is. In fact, the forensics minor is very popular amongst the chemistry students. So chemistry is actually very relevant to forensics, and that is why many of our students want to do so. But just bear in mind one thing. I think for the forensics minor, there is a quota. There's a quota, so the minor cannot accommodate everybody. Okay, so there is a quota there. Next one, do English-speaking international students have the opportunity to take part in these programs? Will we share classes with local students? I think whether you are international or local students, you are the same, right? So as long as you are a chemistry major, then all these are given to you. Okay, so we don't differentiate between international or local students. The next one, what is the minimum requirement for GP to be exempted? Oh, this one, I think you need to find out more from the Dean's office. I can't really give you an answer here, just in case I'm wrong. But I think it could be a C or something like that. Okay, but I can't really answer this question here. Next one is pharmaceutical science, largely chemistry too. I think this question you need to ask the pharmaceutical science people. Yeah, so I also cannot answer this question on their behalf. Next one, is there a difference between medicinal chemistry major and a pharmaceutical science major? Okay, first of all, the medicinal there is only one chemistry major, okay, and we just call it chemistry. So if you are very interested in medicinal chemistry, then what you can do is to take more modules that are related to it. Okay, but at the end of the day, you are still a chemistry major. Now, perhaps the question is this: what is the difference between medicinal chem and, say, pharmaceutical chem? In medicinal chem, we focus more on the upstream processes. That means that you are responsible for, say, synthesizing a compound, in this case, say, a drug compound, right? Some drug molecules, and then to characterize it and so on. So our process is more on the upstream case here. Okay, so it's still very much a chemistry process. Okay, next question. Are there any specialization other than chemical research? At this moment, for the chemistry program, we have only one specialization, which is the chemical research. Now, having said that, because this will be the first year that we offer this new curriculum under CHS, it is very possible that we will be making some changes, right? Some as I say, fine tuning the curriculum as we go along. So it could be possible that we have maybe more specialization next time. But at this moment, it is only the chemical research. Okay. Okay, let me just go through a few more questions since there's time. I think the next one is, what is the difference between farm science and chemistry? I think this question is very broad. Chemistry is a central science, so we actually study more things compared to farm science, right? So just now I mentioned the difference between the medicinal chemistry program and the and the pharmaceutical science. So there's all I can say at this moment is that there's a pretty big difference between farm science and chemistry. Okay, can I choose to do specialization in chemistry research, even if I take chemistry as my second major? Now this is a good question. At this moment, our specialization falls under the unrestricted elective, and we do not. I think the question is yes, you should be able to do the specialization even if chemistry is your second major, because the specialization falls under the unrestricted elective. Now, next question. Are poly students disadvantaged? That depends what you mean. As far as I know, polytechnic students still have the exemption, right, of at least 20 MCs and up to 40 MCs. So I think the answer is they should not be disadvantaged. Also bear in mind when you come in your first year, right? In your first year, all of you would be doing mostly the core curriculum modules, not so much the chemistry modules, right? Just now I mentioned that we only have one chemistry module in the first year. Okay, so so as far as chemistry modules are concerned, I think there is no disadvantage to anybody. Okay, next question. If I wish to explore other areas of interest, can I take more than 48 UE? Actually, you can. So the minimum is 12 modules, which is equivalent to 48 MCs. The problem is that you have to plan your timetable carefully, right? Because now you're taking more than 5 modules on average. So if you can squeeze in more, then yes, it is possible for you to do so. Next question, how different is the 21-22 curriculum from previous year? The main difference is that because this is a CHS curriculum, and when it comes to having the College of Humanities and Sciences, we wanted the students to be able to pursue their other interests as well. So because of this, we have to make our chemistry curriculum a bit more compact, right? A bit more compact compared to previous years. So as you can see, last time, or rather even last year, chemistry students have to take 4 year 1 modules. But for your year, you will only be taking just 1 year 1 modules. So we have to somehow compactify our curriculum compared to previous years. Okay, let's see. What's the next question? How will the discontinuation of SAT subject affect the admissions process? I don't think it will have much effect. The requirement for entering chemistry is an H2 chemistry, right? We need an H2 chemistry, but you also have to have 3 H2 in science, right? So your H2 subjects is not just chemistry, but you also need to have other sciences as well. But we don't require you to have SAT or anything else other than an H2 chemistry. Okay. Next question, how much is the tuition fee? I don't know. Sorry, this is a chemistry talk, so I do not know what is the tuition fee. Very likely our chemistry tuition fee is the same as other experimental sciences. Okay, that's all I can say. Okay, this is interesting because previously our students are able to enter the Duke NUS programs as long as they do well and they need to go for an interview as well. Okay, I think Prof. Chung has already answered the question. Okay, that's good. I didn't see that. Okay, I go to the next one. At the application page, do we select the contrasting major as well? You just have to select your primary major. Okay, you don't have to select anything else. So as long as you declare your primary major is, for example, in this case, chemistry, I think that is fine. What's the difference between taking chemistry as first and second major? Well, I mean, the first major means that you are going to read more chemistry modules. The second major is you only read the chemistry modules of the first 3 years. Okay, the first 3 years. That is enough for you to secure your second major. For your first major, then you need to read the all 15 chemistry modules. Okay, second major, you only have 10 chemistry modules. Okay, so if you are interested in more than one major under the CHS, but they only give us one option for preferred major, do we select multiple times in our choices and rank our preferred major accordingly? Oh, this one I'm sorry, I do not know the admission process, how they do that. But you don't have to worry about this. You can still just select one major, right? And any of the two, right? Let's say you're interested in two majors, just select one of them, and then you can continue taking modules of the other major. Okay, I'm not very sure whether they would allow you to select more than two majors, but then I don't have the answer here. Okay, next question. Is it true that I can only choose my major after year one and is dependent on my year one? Oh, no, it's not true. You can declare your major right after you enter. So let's say if you want to come to NUS this August, you can already declare your major then. You don't have to wait until year one. So that means that you are kind of guarantee a place, right? So you will be permitted to take our year one chemistry module. Okay, do we have to choose a second major or indicate our interest? Yeah, so I think the minimum you have to do is to choose your primary major only. Okay, so you don't have to choose a second major so soon. Okay? In terms of career prospects, how would a chem graduate and life science graduate differ? Well, I mean, chemistry graduate and life science are very different, right? I mean, one would assume that the career prospects would of course be different. One would try to pursue a career in a chemical industry, right? As I've mentioned just now many times, chemical analysis. Whereas for life science, they would also have their own interests. In terms of further education, then of course, both of our programs have, say, master's program and PhD programs as well. Will I talk about life science? No, this is a chemistry program talk. For the IB program, what is the minimum score for HL chemistry? This one, I think you have to ask the admission section. So I'm sorry, I don't have the answer here for you. Next question. If I take a double major, will I have fewer UE to explore my other interests? Oh, definitely, yes. Because your double major, or rather the second major, all your modules will be considered UE modules. So your second major, you need 10 modules, right? but you only have 12 UE modules. That means that you're left with only 2 modules. Yeah, 2 modules for you to pursue your other interests. Okay, next one. I can see that Ms. Linda Ooi and Prof. Chung are also answering the questions, which is good. Okay, next question. Are minors restricted to courses in CHS if our major is chemistry? Oh no, you can take minors outside CHS. So the minors will fall under the unrestricted elective. Okay, so the UE modules you can take from, let's say, engineering if you want to, okay, or other faculties. It's not just restricted to CHS. Is it possible to swap my first major with my second major? Well, the answer is yes. So that means that when you, well, if you were taking both majors at the same time, say in parallel, right? And then let's say it turns out that you don't like your first major so much and you like your second major, then you just carry on pursuing your second major as if it's the first major. Yeah, so that one is not an issue. Next one, if I choose a second major, can I declare in my application? I'm not sure about that. That again, you need to ask the admission section. I think the minimum is that you just declare your first major. Okay, I'm not very sure whether you can also declare your second major or not. Okay. Can you choose chemistry as second major together with chem engineering as the first major? Now this is quite interesting. The answer to this ought to be yes, but we have to check with the Faculty of Engineering as well, because they are also going to come up with a new curriculum. And the question is how we can facilitate the changes here, for a student to try to pursue Chem Eng as the first major and chemistry as the second. Yeah. Will there be overseas exchange opportunities? Oh, well, as long as all the countries are open, then, I'm sure you will have the opportunity to go for overseas exchange. Okay. So before COVID-19, many of our students have gone overseas anyway. So I'm sure you have the opportunities next time. How are assignments and exams like? Is it mostly structured paper or essays? Well, that depends on the module. That depends on the module lecturers as well. So say a typical chemistry module will consist of lectures, small group tutorials, and then there is a final exam. And we have CA. CA means the continual assessments. So the continual assessments usually take a form of a test, right? Just a small test, a structured test. Sometimes it's multiple choice questions as well. Now, when you go to higher level, then there will be more projects and essays. Okay, but it's hard to answer this question because depending on the module, we have different ways of doing assignments and exams. If you take double major, will it affect the internship of your primary major? Well, not really, not really. At as of now, the internship will probably be 4 MC. 4 MC or 8 MC space. Okay, we will take up that means it's like 2 modules or 1 module. So it is possible for you to do the internship while taking 2 majors as well. But you must make sure that you plan carefully. Yeah, your timetable is very important. Okay, you have to plan carefully. Okay, are we on offered double majors upon them? Are we offered double majors? No. So the double major, depending on the program, okay, I think you heard about the cross-disciplinary program. So those are effectively double majors. So if you are interested in those programs, then so those will be designed for you, tailor-made for you. Um, but but most of the time the double majors will be the student themselves would have to declare that. Okay. Okay, next one. If you have to say one strength of NUS over NTU, what would it be? I'm very scared answering all these questions. So I think our program is very diverse. As I've mentioned just now, we have about 60 academic staff who are doing a variety of chemistry, right? I feel that we are pretty good in materials chemistry, analytical chemistry. I Whether this is considered, I think this is our strength. Whether um, whether this is our strength over NTU, I do not know, right? So perhaps you can also find out from NTU too. Okay. Are there any mathematics requirement for Chem major? No longer, no longer. Last time there was a module that students have to take, but now because this CHS curriculum is so broad, it is possible for the students to choose whether they want to study a mathematics module as well. Okay. Now, if you mean a math requirement before you enter NUS, then our chemistry major requirement is really just an H2 chemistry. Okay, H2 chemistry. We are not even imposing an H2 mathematics. Okay, I hope I have myself, Prof. Cheng, Dr. Mike, and others have answered your question. I hope we haven't missed out any question here. Okay, I think the next talk will begin at 3 p.m. If you still have questions, you can ask. And also we have a Q&A session. We have a Q&A session in chemistry starting at 3:30. Okay, in fact, we have two sessions. One is at 3:30 to 4:20. The other is from 5 o'clock to 5:50. So if you still have questions for us, you can also attend our Q&A. Now, we also have a WhatsApp, right? The WhatsApp is ongoing as well. You can also type your question in WhatsApp, and then we will try to answer the question to the best of our ability. If not, then thank you very much for attending this talk. So I do hope that I do hope to see you this August